Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Jiniyat or retributions in the Hanbali school. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Salatu Salam ala Rasul Kareem. ربنا تقبل منا زدنا علما وحكمة وهدى اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما أعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا اللهم آتنا نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها اللهم شيوخنا أما بعد. All the praises belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, He made this creation. Allah is going to make the afterlife, the akhirah. And may the peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's the one that we follow, we learn the things from, and he's our example. He's a messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And today we'll talk about in the Hanbali school, the next lesson, the Bible, Jiniyat. Jiniyat. And the Jiniyat means the retributions or the contribution, the recompensation for other people, or the things that they do to a person. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, it talks about the qisas, Allah hurru bil hurri wa abdu bil abdi wal untha bil untha. He mentions that. And Allah says, al ainu bil ain wal udun bil udun wal nafs bil nafs. No, so it says eye for eye. I think that's a term that they use for it. So it talks about those issues. But you have like eye for eye. That's what it's talking about. And that's the section here. So let's go through here. This is the introduction for it. We can go through. That's what this chapter is about. The jiniyat. That is, if somebody they do something to you, then you have a right to get the recompensation for it. They have another chapter called the hudud. The hudud, it's different than the jiniyat. Jiniyat is when a person they get they get the retribution to the other person. The hudud is in the government. The government they have the laws there, and they use it to implement the hudud to deter people from doing sins, in the government. So that's a little bit different than a jiniyat. Jiniyat is one person to the other. That's what it refers to. The hudud refers to the government, where they implement the punishment for the crimes. That's what that refers to. Okay, you'd like to read the first one, Sheikh Omar?
القطوة بغير حق ينفعش إلى ثلاثة أقسام.
Yes.
Our right is divided into three categories.
Yes. So you have the killing somebody that killed somebody. So the Sheikh he mentions there's three different categories. This is talking about the person that he killed, the right that he has and his family has over the person that kills. What happens is you have the Islamic law of somebody that killed somebody, and they committed murder, so they have the punishment in the Islamic law also. So that's like sort of related to this, but this is a little bit different. So it talks. The first thing the Sheikh he mentions over here is talking about the killing, and there's three types of killing. A person that kills somebody. So he's going to mention the details about those three types. Okay, now we read number 2. Yes, in Arabic it says ahaduma al-amdu wa huwa an talu bi jur. Al-amd. Over here it means amd means purposely, not by mistake. Where a person they kill somebody and they cause a wound on the person, they harm the person on purpose. That's literally what that refers to. That's the first type. Person they purposely go and they harm a person and they mean to kill him and they kill him. Now, what you have in English, they say murder. That's a term for it, murder. So literally, it's the same thing. That's the first type. So the Sheikh he mentioned some points about that. Did you read number 3, Sheikh Omar?
Or did something that likely kills him.
Yes. So it's talking about how a person they killed somebody intentionally. First one is with a wound. Jur means a wound or like something that's I think the wound is a good translation for it. Where the person they get they have something is broken or something is hurt. I don't know if there's another explanation for when you say a jur. When you say somebody is the word they use that also is like for a person they're going outside and then like for example if there's a saw or something like that cuts the person, so they say that's a jur also, that's a wound, or someone pokes it to a person, right? They start bleeding, they call that the jur. So that's what that refers to. The wound I think is a good translation for it. And second thing is that's when a person, when they did something and it was very likely what he did is cause a person to die. You know, that's what he did. It's not something that because the other part it talks about that where a person they did something but they didn't expect the person to die. But this one here, the person they fully the thing that he did is very uh, it would cause somebody's death. You know, that's what it would say. Because you have the next part which is different than the first part, the second one. Okay, so he did something which would likely cause a person to die. Read number four. Noe.
Or repeatedly with a light object.
No, number four.
Yeah, that's
Like striking him with a.
like striking him with a heavy object.
Yes, like if he has something that's very heavy, very sharp, or very strong, and he struck the person with it. So it's very unlikely the person is going to survive that strike. That's what it refers to. There's a sheikh he divides it into two parts. We have one that's a light object, which normally speaking would just like cause a bruise on a person or something like that. Then you have a heavy object, you know, and that's likely for a person to use that, and that would cause a person to die. That's what he meant by it. Okay, number five, Sheikh Omar.
Or repeatedly with a light.
Object, yes. So if it's something that's lighter, not like a heavy object, where normally speaking, a person, if they hit that person, I know this is something that's crazy to talk about, but anyway, these are the rules that we have. If somebody hits somebody, so likely one time striking the person, it wouldn't kill the person. But if he does it repeatedly, repetitively many times, then that would cause the death of the person. So that's what he's referring to. Like for example, if somebody has a spoon, for example, right? Somebody hit somebody with a spoon, or maybe like what do you call it? Like a what's another example? Like something like that's the size of a spoon. They hit somebody with that, then likely he's not going to die with it if they hit him once. But if they keep hitting with it, then it will cause a person to die. Whereas in number the previous one, it talks about something very heavy, very big. When they're striking the person one time, would definitely kill the person, or would likely kill the person. So this is something that's a smaller object, and they repeatedly hit the person with a smaller object, which would cause the person not just to have laceration, but to die. Okay, you get the point, right? Noe? Okay, Chola. Read number six.
Or throwing in a high place.
Yes. So that's another way of these are. I hate to talk about these things, but anyway, these are the rules here. If somebody they go like on top of a cliff or something like that, and they throw the person off the cliff or shove the person off the cliff, that's murder. That's what that's talking about. So that's another example that he gives. The first one, where a person they did something that was likely going to kill the person. Okay, Chola. All right, let's go to the next one, number seven.
Or strangulating,
Mm-hmm.
burning, or drowning him,
Yes,
or poisoning him.
yes. So all those things there that's mentioned, there's a different ways that people they kill people, strangling or burning, drowning the person or poisoning them, and those are very likely. It's not just going to harm the person, just not just going to what do you call it, cause a person to have a bruise or something like that. It's likely going to kill the person. So that's why he mentions that's the first one. The amud qatl, purposely killing. Yeah. And in the law over here in America too, they have that. They call it murder, and they have something called a manslaughter. So you have something similar to that. And so the difference is over here when you have the murder, that's if a person they intentionally wanted to kill somebody with the purpose of killing the person. Manslaughter is that they did something wrong, but they didn't intend to kill the person. So it's something similar to that. Okay, let's go to number nine. Is there Noe? Read number nine.
Or giving false testimony that requires a death without
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's another thing. That's what the sheikh considered purposely killing somebody. The person they go to the judge and they lie about somebody and say, "Oh, he killed this person or he committed the adultery that requires his death." And several people they did that. They lied about it, and that caused the person to die because they had to implement the execution for him. So he considers that to be the first category where somebody they killed somebody. Okay, all right. Number 10, Sheikh Omar.
أو الحكم
Mm-hmm.
عليه به or judging him that he be killed.
Yes. So if you have a judge that's a corrupt judge, that doesn't follow the laws, so he doesn't like somebody, he wants to kill somebody, so he makes a judgment, oh, this person should be killed. So that person committed murder, so committed the murder. So that's all in the first category. Okay, now we read number, okay, 11. I mean, it continues on the first part. Yes. So persons that did something, they know that the other person is an innocent person, and they did something that they know that was likely going to cause them to die. Intentionally killing somebody or intending to kill somebody. Okay? Okay, read number 12.
In this case, the guardian has the choice between retaliation and blood.
Yes. So in this case here, where it's a person, they killed somebody and they intended to kill somebody, then the family of the person that got killed, they can demand that this person be killed also. Life for a life. They have, that's the point over here, the Jiniyat. Or what they could do is the other choice they have, they can accept the blood money. The blood money, which is a compensation because they killed a person. So he can choose on one of those two. And the blood money is, it's mentioned in the books of ilm, it's 100 camels, the value of 100 camels. And that was back in the time of Prophet Muhammad. So there's another section that talks about that, how much the blood money is on different occasions. So that's what a person they can do. Or they can demand that the person be recompensed because he killed somebody, so that person should be killed, and he did it on purpose. Or he could say, okay, don't the person not be killed, just pay the blood money, and that's sufficient on the killer. Okay, is that clear on that? Okay, inshallah. Let's go to number 13. Nawi, read that one. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Whoever has a relative killed has the choice between two options, either to kill him or accept.
Yes. So the person they have their relative, a close relative, somebody killed them, then that person can demand that the killer, he be killed also, or the recompense, or he can accept the blood money from the person, the blood money from the person that did the killing. All right, is that clear on that point? So they have two choices. Okay, and this is for the person that got killed. It's not in the case of the government. The government that has to implement the laws. If somebody killed somebody, then they got to be executed. That's the law in the government. This is talking about the individual himself, the victim that got killed, so he can demand those things. But in the government, if they find out that somebody killed somebody, then they have to implement the law that person they're executed for murder. That's the law there. So you have that issue. Okay, let's go to 14. Sheikh Omar.
If the killer agrees to compensate for more than the blood money, it is permissible.
Yes, if somebody that killed somebody, and then he says, I'm willing to give more than the blood money. That's fine. That's acceptable as well. So normally speaking, the blood money is 100 camels, and some of the ulama they also say like 100 dinars or something like that. It's equivalent to it. So the person that killed, the family of the deceased, they agree to it, they can accept the blood money. But maybe the person that killed, if he can offer them more, then the family will be more willing to accept the compensation. So he can do that also. He can raise the amount that he's going to give them. Okay, is that clear on that point? Okay, inshallah. Okay, to read number 15, Nawi.
Second person,
Mhm. Yes. So the next one they call it shubul qatl, which is quasi murder or like resembling murder. That is, if a person they went and they wanted to harm the person but not kill him, but the person ended up dying. Okay, like maybe the person punched the person, he didn't expect the person to die, but by doing so, the person they died. That's the example. He didn't intend the death of the person, but because of the, uh, the, uh, the, the, uh, the thing that he did, the person they ended up dying from it. They didn't intend the death, but the person they died. Is that clear on that point? I think the Sheikh he gives some examples, maybe. No, maybe not so many examples. Like let's say a person had his car and he saw a person in front. He says, "Let me hit this person with my car, just to knock him to the side." So he did that, and then the person died. So that's called tashabbul qatl. I mean, the person didn't intend to kill the person, but he ended up harming the person and caused his death. Another example is like, let's see what's a good example. I don't know. Yes, like a person, I think a good example with water. It's a good example with water. Hmm. All right. Well, anyway, these things are like, for example, let's say a person they they try to knock somebody out with some drink or something like that. Sometimes people they do that. They have a drink and they have what you call a jimmy in it. I think that's what it's called. They gave it to another person. They wanted the person to pass out, not to die but pass out. And the person consumed it and he died. So that's like another example. Okay, you get the idea, right? Where a person they didn't mean to kill the person, they just harmed the person or hit the person or something like that, and the person ended up dying. They call that shubul qatl, quasi murder. That's the term for it.
Maybe if you try to steal somebody and they get happen.
If he what?
You try to steal somebody and they get happen.
Right. Yes, that's another example. We try to do something to scare somebody, and then the other person ended up dying. Yeah, is that clear on that one? The tashabul qatl, because the thing is they have rulings on it. Because when you kill somebody, they kill somebody on purpose, that person has a right, he should be killed, But if a person they didn't intend to kill the person, just to harm the person, so that's what they call it, tashabul qatl, the quasi murder. Okay, inshallah, to read that's a second type of killing that happens. Person they didn't intend to kill the person, just to harm the person, but the person ended up dying.
So if they have in that case, would that case apply the blood money or the retaliation?
Okay, so that's what the sheikh he said on number 16. He said in this case the person is not killed, it's not life for life, but he just pays the blood money. Okay, that's what he said, number 16, right? That's what he said. And this is in the Hanbali school. Now, if you look at the other schools, they have different rulings for it on the case of the tashabul qatl. Some of the other ulama they say it's the same ruling as the qatl, because the person they did something wrong and it caused a death to somebody, so that person should be killed. But in the Hanbali school, this is what the sheikh he said: the person is not killed, but he has to pay the blood money. Because he didn't really intend to kill the person; he just intended to harm the person, and the person he ended up dying. Okay, so that's a ruling in the Hanbali school. Okay, is that good? All right, inshallah. Okay, now we read number 17. Yes. The next one is a person that killed somebody by mistake, by error, by not intending to kill the person, but the person, they made a mistake on it. And he explains those two types afterwards. Number 18. Read that, Sheikh Omar.
First, to do something that was not intended to kill, which leads to or cause death.
Yes. No, so he did something, but it didn't. It wasn't supposed to hurt anybody or kill somebody, but it caused the person to die. Okay, so he gives an example like in number 19. Read that in Nawawi, number 19. Yes. So a person they dug a big hole in the ground, a big well, right? He didn't intend to kill anybody with it, right? But let's say he did that and somebody walked by and fell into it and died. That's what it's talking about, like that on that killing by mistake, killing by something he didn't intend to harm anybody, and the person ended up being killed. Okay, and also you could say like in car accidents too. Somebody might be driving, and he didn't intend to kill somebody, but he did by mistake. Maybe he wasn't looking in the direction, looking the other direction, and then by mistake he did something. Okay, is that clear on that? Okay, inshallah. Number 19, Sheikh Omar. Oh, number 20.
or a sleeper, youngster, or an insane
Mm-hmm.
killed. The ruling is quasi killing.
Yes. So what happens if there's a young child, right? The books of Ilm, they say that he's not responsible for himself because he's too young. Like maybe somebody 5 years old or 4 years old, right? So he did something, and so then he's given that the same ruling as a tashabbul qatl. Then he also mentioned the insane person, the person that doesn't have any sense, any competence, and like a sleeping person, sleeping. Because the hadith mentions those three things. رفي القلم على ثلاثة الصبي حتى يكبر والمجنون حتى يفكر and nama hatta sticketh. So that's why he mentioned those three things. The pen is lifted on three people. There's a young child, young toddler infant until he becomes older, and then somebody that doesn't have the competence, the sense, until they have the sense, and then also a sleeping person until he wakes up. So that's why he mentions those three things there. So those people that did that in those states, then because they're not able to do things on purpose, then they're given the same ruling by khata, by by mistake. Okay, is that clear? No way. Okay, inshallah. Should read the next one, 21.
Second, the one who kills a Muslim in the land of war, or people who desire.
Yes, so if a person they're in the land where they're in a battle or a fight, and people are at a war with each other, then the person they went and they attacked somebody, and that person turned out to be a Muslim. No, it wasn't the enemy. That's what he's talking about. So that's a mistake, killing by mistake. Okay, okay. Let's go to 30 to 22. Sheikh Omar.
For shot at the men of disbelievers,
Mm-hmm.
and his arrow hits a Muslim.
Yes. So they're in the middle of fighting in a battle, in a war. So the person they shoot an arrow, and it goes to the disbelievers, but it misses the disbelievers and hits a believer by accident. So that's what it's called, killing by mistake. That's what that refers to. Okay, so he gives some examples of that. All right, no wait, read number 22.
Or shoots at the rank of his believers and his arrow hits the Muslim.
Okay, number 23, just did that one.
Then it is an expiation of blood money.
Mm-hmm. Number 23, did you read that one?
Yeah, I read it.
The saying of Allah.
The saying of Allah, the tables of believers on hostile people and free believing slaves.
Yes, this is part of a long ayah in Surah, I believe in Surah Nisa. فإن كان من قوم عدو لكم وهو مؤمن فتحرير رقبة مؤمنة. So this talks about if a person, if they kill somebody on purpose or if they kill somebody on accident, and this is one of the excerpts of the ayah. وما كان لمؤمن أن يقتل مؤمنا إلا خطأ. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. And then he talks about the different circumstances. وَمَن يَقْتُلْ مُؤْمِنًا مُتَعَمِّدًا فَجَزَاؤُهُ جَهَنَّمُ لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ وَغَضَبُهُ. So that's what he says. So it's very serious if a person they kill another Muslim on purpose. But if a person they killed somebody by mistake, then he mentions the different things that people have to do. And one of the excerpts is وَإِنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ عَدُوٌّ لَكُمْ وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ. That means if the people that the person was attacking, he was the enemy towards you, but he turned out to be a believer, تحرير رقبة مؤمنة. The person they have to free a believing slave. That's what the ayah says over here. So these rules here, the Sheikh he mentioned directly from the ayahs in the Quran and the hadiths from Prophet Muhammad. So that's why he mentions those particular points. Okay, inshallah. So that's what he mentioned so far in the Jiniyat. So over here he talked about the murder or killing, but also you have the section of the Jiniyat. If a person they harm somebody, if they, like, for example, they hit somebody and they break their bone, break their leg, break their arm, break their nose, things like that. So that talks about that also. Like it says, eye for eye, right? Al-ain bil-ain. So it mentions that. So that's the section on the jiniyat. And then it goes into the other chapters on what the blood money is, the diya. And then you have the diya, which is the full life. If a person they killed somebody completely, they pay the diya. But then if they harmed a body part of the person, then they pay a portion of the diya. So that's another section about that. Okay, all right, inshallah. Okay, let's stop over here. Sheikh Omar, did you have any questions or comments about this, the introduction?
So, there's like, you can correctly, like, there's a this like where if two people are fighting or they kill each other and they both like go to or they both go to Jahannam. Is that you hear about that happening?
Yes, yes. No, and then people that ask Prophet Muhammad, we know that the person that was killing, he goes to the Jahannam because he killed the other person. But what about the person that was killed? So then Prophet Muhammad said he had the intention of killing the other person. So that's why he ends up in the Jahannam. It said he got killed instead.
So this applies Muslim or it apply anybody?
There's another section that talks about that, Muslim to Muslim, and it talks about non-Muslim to a Muslim and slaves and things like that. That's on the next chapter, which talks about that, where that's implemented. Yeah, in this case over here, if somebody, two Muslims are fighting, the one person killed the other person, right? So the person that's killed, is he going to get the recompense or the retaliation or the punishment? No. Why not? The one that got killed, is he going to get the qisas? No. Why not? He's dead. You can't do anything to him, right? Yeah. But the other person, he's going to get he'll get something, because he's still alive.
But he has a relative, right?
Hmm?
He has a relative, right?
He's what?
Relative, like wife,
Relative?
children, parents,
Yeah, I mean, they were fighting, so obviously he killed them on purpose. So then the relatives can say that this person's got to be killed also, or they can accept the blood money in that case. So that's the case for it, because he did it on purpose. That's a reason behind it. Okay, inshallah. All right, inshallah.
About if the person is insane?
Yeah, then it's lifted from them because the person insane, they don't understand what they're doing. They're not competent in what's going on.
And the family still the main blood money from his family.
The thing is, then they would have done it by mistake, by the khata, and in that case, then they would have to pay the blood money. I believe that's the case for it. They'd have to pay the blood money. There's no recompense for the person. He's not killed, just pays the blood money in that case. Because he did it by mistake, didn't intend to harm the person at all. Okay, inshallah. All right, inshallah. That's good. Noe, did you have any questions or comments? Is it good? Okay, inshallah. All right, inshallah. Okay, so we'll stop over here. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. If I said anything from the ilm, take it. Anything from myself, disregard it. Allah knows best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.